It's a real pleasure to be here this morning, and thank you to Graham and to Anne for that introduction. I have to say it's quite nerve-wracking for a politician to be standing near a Twitter wall. Just in case you need it, my own Twitter handle is Nicky Morgan 01, and I will be checking all of the tweets afterwards, and I will find you in the audience, or somebody else will. But genuinely, I think it's great if there's lots of publicity about this conference out there. People realise the discussions that are going on. So many congratulations to the Foundation for bringing everyone together, and to all of you for getting up Thursday and for being here. It is a remarkable privilege to be speaking to so many of you who are working on behalf of children and families around the country. And of course, I do want to say thank you to Graham for his 10 years. And as you said, Graham, I think this is what is this? This is the end of the beginning, I think somebody else once said. And I think that there is lots more to do, and lots of plans. And thank you for the report, which I will read in full. I have taken some careful note of the headline issues. And I want to say thank you to Graham on behalf of Ian Smith and others for all the work that you have done, research, and particularly in this Parliament too. You have got a fascinating day of discussion and debate ahead of you. Fascinating, but also vital, because it is undoubtedly vital that we help and support people when they are at their most vulnerable, whether that's children, teenagers, or their parents. The thought that any young person might, through no fault of their own, be denied the right chances and opportunities to fulfil their potential should be enough to make anyone with an interest in education and children sit up and think, how can I help? How can I change things for better? And that's why early intervention has been a real priority for the government over recent years, and why it's a personal priority and passion for me too. Within the Department for Education, our reforms around childcare and early years will mean that thousands more families will have access to high quality and affordable early education, and thousands more children from the most disadvantaged backgrounds will get the chance they need to start school on an equal footing with their better off peers. Where the child that falls behind early on is less likely to catch up later. And that's why we are determined to ensure all children get those critical basics. I know that early intervention is often particularly important for the most disadvantaged members of our society, and our groundbreaking reforms to the social work system continue. Because early intervention isn't just about supporting children at the very beginning of their life, important though that is, but it's also about acting quickly when a problem arises and when it gets worse. So in fact, I'm pleased to be announcing today that we will, with the Department for Health, be supporting a small number of early adopter teaching partnerships to test and refine new and innovative approaches to delivering high-quality training for social work students and qualified practitioners. This is all to increase expertise in the sector and to ensure that children get the help they need when they need it. More widely, the government's Troubled Families programme aims to turn around the lives of 120,000 families with a broad range of issues, breaking the cycle of disadvantage and avoiding the tragic waste of human potential caused by long-term financial, social and health problems. And as a mark of the government's commitment to raising the profile of early intervention, the Chancellor committed £3 million as part of the last autumn statement to support early intervention pilots over the coming year. The government has also created a mental health task force, joining together ministers from across government, including myself and Sam Gima, on behalf of the Department for Education. The task force recognises the complexities of early intervention and the need for a coherent and comprehensive approach to tackling problems. Prevention is always better than cure, and that's why we have a moral mission to provide compassion and support as soon as problems emerge, and to do all that we can to ensure that every single child in the country has an equal chance to succeed in life, no matter their background or family circumstances. Intervening early, rather than just reacting when problems are already getting worse, is, put simply, the best way to prevent the serious personal, societal and financial costs that poor mental health can cause. Investing money into this area really is spending to save in the long run, because at least 1 in 4 of the population experiences mental health problems at some point in their life. Over half of adults who suffer with mental health problems found their problems started by the age of 14, and 3/4 by their mid-20s. In other words, that's millions of lives affected by problems that, if caught and addressed in childhood, could have been tackled. And those millions of lives are affected in so many different ways. Imagine trying to find happiness and fulfillment in life, but it's very hard to even cope with the basics. We know that mental health issues can affect someone's physical health, their social life, their ability to hold down a job, and there are even links, of course, with offending and antisocial behaviour. And these heartbreaking personal costs also come with a financial cost, and a cost to the whole of society too. Children and young people's mental health disorders alone come with an annual cost of £1.6 billion, not to mention the suffering and anguish for families who are affected. As Education Secretary, I visit schools every week and talk to head teachers, school support staff and pupils about the issues affecting them, their friends and their schools. I'm sorry to say that mental health comes up heartbreakingly frequently. Just this week I met an inspirational young man, John, who has now turned his life around after suffering appalling bullying in school. He stopped caring about education and he stopped caring about himself. No one gave him the support that he needed and no one intervened early enough. Hearing John's story made me angry, and it made me even more determined to ensure that we do all we can to ensure that young people get all the support that they need. And that's why it is so important that we give the right amount of money and time to early intervention, so that we can help thousands of young people around the country suffering at any given time. We can give them and their families the support they need as soon as they start to struggle with life, and really importantly, we can make sure that it is the support that will work best for them. But of course, our longer-term aspirations for changes to children's mental health services will only be fully effective if they are made to a system in which all those who work with children and young people have the right knowledge of mental health and make the right links to specialists when needed. So at the heart of early intervention is good knowledge. We know that it's often teachers that first spot when something is wrong, and that's why we have published guidance for schools on behaviour and mental health, including further information on mental health difficulties and useful identification tools. We've also funded the PSHE Association to produce guidance on teaching mental health, due to be published next month, with example lesson plans to follow. And we will be publishing a strategy looking at counselling services based in schools. It aims to provide schools with evidence-based advice informed by experts on how to ensure counselling that they offer is high quality and achieves good outcomes. At the same time, I want to recognise and applaud the voluntary and community sector organisations that already play a huge role in supporting schools and providing good counselling. They quite rightly take their cues from children and young people themselves, and they are especially skilled at building trust and providing help in an inclusive and non-stigmatising way. Their support extends into the local community too, and that is absolutely vital. When I asked my constituents in Loughborough about the mental health support service they need, they mentioned the importance of community services as well, of course, as services in more formal, often health-based settings. So to reward this valuable work and encourage it to grow and thrive, I've assured that a major theme of our National Prospectus grants is, for the first time, mental health. We are looking for voluntary and community sector organisations that can make a real difference by helping professionals and, crucially, children, young people and their families themselves to recognise mental health issues, to do something about them quickly, and to get access to the right treatment. I'm absolutely delighted that we have seen a great range of really innovative bids from real experts in this field. And we'll be announcing the results of that process in mid-March, with projects getting underway from April onwards. Speaking of innovation, our innovation programme continues to award money to projects around the country that are providing a fresh look at the support we give children, teenagers and their families. This is a government investment of £100 million to help local groups deliver change. And I'm pleased to announce today that we have agreed funding for a further 6 successful projects, including some that get right to the heart of tackling some of the most challenging mental health problems experienced by young people in or on the edge of care. And I would like to take this opportunity to highlight the fantastic work that 3 of these projects will soon be undertaking. This includes exciting new work by the Priory Education Services, who are working with Suffolk Council to pilot a new type of residential home, combining mental health treatment with a smaller and more personal setting, helping teenagers and their families through crisis periods and avoiding the need for longer-term placements. An Action for Children, who are working with Barnet, Harrow and Hounslow councils to run a new suite of evidence-based programmes assisting local authorities and transforming support available to teenagers in West London. Or even the National Implementation Service, which will build on a decade of experience to extend its support to over 70 councils across the country, helping young people to tackle problem behaviour and substance abuse and stop them from entering care. Between them, these projects are benefiting from £8.5 million of funding from the EIF department. Not only will they impact on the lives of hundreds of teenagers directly, but the programmes will help to rethink the way that services offer support across the country. It's clear to me that mental health and character education are on opposite sides of the same coin. When I became Education Secretary, one of the first things I did was to add a 5th priority for the department: to prepare well-rounded young people ready for adult life in modern Britain. That is how much I value it. Children with the right confidence, skills and resilience will find challenging situations and periods of emotional upheaval much easier to deal with. They'll have resilience to remain strong, and if and when problems become serious, the confidence to ask for help when they need it. To reflect the importance of well-rounded education, we're giving schools and organisations that offer activities promoting character the chance to expand these programmes through a new £3.5 million fund, and we're also going to give £1 million to the Education Endowment Foundation to help build the evidence base in character education. Through our newly announced Character Awards, we will recognise excellence and diversity in character education, acknowledging that character is already being encouraged and developed alongside academic rigour through a variety of programmes within and outside schools across the country. I've spoken to you about what the government is doing, the money that we are providing, and the real importance of voluntary and community sector organisations in helping the community. And as I have said, it should be clear that early intervention is not just a priority for the government, it is a personal priority of my own. Just last week I met the leaders of 3 of the 5 children's charities behind the Stitching Time report published last summer. Between them, the NSPCC, Bernardo's, the Children's Society, Save the Children and Action for Children have produced a report that succeeds in articulating the principles of early education and in offering a challenge to everyone working in children's services. But if we want to effect long-lasting culture change in how we best help young people and families in crisis, we need to join up these different strands and work together. Not just in financial terms, but partnering up, sharing best practice, collaborating and innovating together. Gathering and sharing evidence about what works, because proving what works and ensuring that it pays off is the best way to make the strongest case for early intervention. And making a reality of early intervention will also depend on a wider cultural change about more joined-up thinking. And I am committed to seeing that this drive should continue, so that teenagers like John get the support they need as soon as they need it, so that the most vulnerable and defenceless members of our society have the voices they need to speak up on their behalf, to demand more support and better services, and so that the children I see every week all over the country can thrive, happy and secure, because they've been given the right care when they need it. Thank you to all of you for everything that you do in helping this to become a reality. Have a good day.